NFL Week 7's in the books. I got a few takeaways. Let's talk about it. Week 7's in the books. Let's start with the Rams and Jaguars. The Rams beat the heck out of the Jaguars in the London game, 35-7. It is looking like the Rams are a really solid team. They got back on their winning ways, and they spanked the Jaguars all over that field. Jaguars suffered another injury. Brian Thomas is hurt, but the side benefit of that, Travis Hunter became the number one receiver, went for over 100 yards, scored his first touchdown. I'm thinking, Jaguars, it's time to put the Travis Hunter experiment to bed. Let's make him a wide receiver. Let's focus on that. This team is pretty darn good. They're going to need Travis Hunter if Thomas is out for a significant period of time. It's time to start focusing. What he was able to do against the Rams was impressive. He did have a couple of good plays on defense, but let's limit those opportunities. Let's focus on offense. Let's stop being so selfish and trying to do something that is unnecessary. Honestly, the Jaguars defense is good. Travis Hunter's not the reason. They're pressuring the quarterback and they're making takeaways, but their offense and Trevor Lawrence definitely need Travis Hunter as a wide receiver more so than I think their defense needs him as a defensive back. So Travis Hunter, coaches of the Jaguars, let's forget the playing both sides of the ball for a while, especially if Brian Thomas is out for a significant period of time. They need a number one wide receiver. Travis Hunter should focus on that and be that for the Jaguars going forward. That's my takeaway from that game. Bears and Saints, Caleb Williams not doing much. Rome Odunze not doing much. They were able to run the ball, which is good. And it looks like Ben Johnson is starting to develop a two running back backfield like he had in Detroit. So let's keep an eye on that going forward. The Saints, they're 1-6. It's time for Spencer Rattler to hit the bench and to put that quarterback you drafted in the first round in the games. And let's see what he can do, because Spencer Rattler's not cutting it. Sorry. I will say the Saints are competitive. They're keeping these games close early. Since the Bills game earlier in the year, they seem to be fighting, which is a good sign for Saints fans, something to hold your head up high about. But Spencer Rattler's not the answer at quarterback. It's time to make a change and see what your rookie quarterback can do. Speaking of quarterback changes, maybe it's time in Miami to do that. Tua Tagovailoa is not having a good season. I think he's missing Tyreek Hill very much. It's apparent. He's turning the ball over. He's calling out his teammates in press conferences, apologizing for them. He's worried about more off-field stuff, and the on-field performance is definitely suffering. Mike McDaniels, you're next for being fired, in my opinion. I'm honestly shocked that he's still the coach at this point in the week. Maybe the owner just doesn't like to do that. He's got principles. He's going to stick with them and let his team compete for the number one draft choice, I guess, at this point. But the Dolphins are a mess all over the field. Other than Devin Achane, there was really not much to be excited about. The Browns scored 31 points, which is shocking for them. They just really don't put up that many points. The Browns, though, do seem to have found their running back in the rookie Judkins. He had 3 touchdowns, so they should keep going that way. Dylan Gabriel, nothing. I'm not seeing anything exciting, but there's no reason for him not to be the starting quarterback the rest of the way at this point. He's doing a competent job, but let's see what they can do this upcoming week. They did play the Dolphins, so it's kind of unfair. 31 points. These teams were both 1-5 going into that game, so somebody had to win. That was the only thing you knew, that one of them was going to get their second win, and it was the Browns. And we'll see how they do this upcoming week, but they should keep running that ball with Judkins, because man, he's a really good running back. Speaking of bad teams, the Raiders, oh boy, it might be Kenny Pickett time in Las Vegas. Gino Smith is not doing anything. Ashton Genty can't run the ball because their offensive line can't block, and Gino Smith can't complete passes to anyone because he has no time. The offensive line looks kind of like a high school offensive line. Like if you ever see a high school game, passing is usually an adventure, and that's kind of the way it is with the Raiders right now. Geno Smith is not doing it. You got Kenny Pickett. He can't be much worse than Geno Smith at this point. You've got Jacoby Myers talking to the press, looking to be traded out of there before the deadline. So there's bad juju all around there. I mean, they're 2-5, but that might be all the wins they get the way they're playing right now. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they're starting to get their weapons back. Rashee Rice was back. The Chiefs are looking like they're making their case to be a playoff team. They're now 4-3 and headed definitely in the right direction. The last 3 games have been really good for them. Their offense seems to have that spunk that it normally has. They're doing creative things. Mahomes is throwing no-look passes. He's making a case for MVP at this point. He's definitely he's been running the ball more than he's ever had. I can't remember him running it as much as he had. I don't know if it's out of necessity or he's just feeling it and taking advantages of things he's seeing in front of him. I don't know. Whatever it is, they're winning. They look like they're getting scary. They're getting healthy. They've got all sorts of wide receivers now. If they could only just run the ball a little more solidly, then they would be my favorite to win the AFC, especially the way they're playing at this point in the season. But let's not get excited. It's a long season. Anything can happen. But right now, the Chiefs look really, really good, and the Raiders look really, really bad. The Eagles got a win in Minnesota. Jalen Hurts made some really nice passes. Saquon Barkley still can't run the ball. Their offensive line, I think they got a couple of injuries in key positions. They're not able to keep the defense off of Saquon. He's getting hit almost immediately. It is tough to run the ball there. Maybe it's the Madden jinx that Saquon's suffering through. He did look like he got an injury to his right shoulder at the end of that game. It's something to keep an eye on. He is getting hit a lot. The defenses are loading up to stop him and trying to force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. He was able to do that against a really good Minnesota defense. So that was an impressive win for the Eagles. They're not blowing people out, but, a win's a win. 5-2. You're ahead in the NFC East. You look like you're going to be a playoff team and back in the conversation for Super Bowl contenders. If they can figure out how to get Saquon loose and start getting the ball, the Eagles and the Chiefs might be on a collision course for a do-over for the Super Bowl at this point. Carson Wentz, he looks like he's going to get another start this week. J.J. McCarthy's ankle's still not there. I don't know that J.J. McCarthy is going to play this game much better than Carson Wentz is playing right now. Jordan Addison is definitely benefiting from Carson Wentz being in the game. I'm not sure why he and Justin Jefferson are not clicking. I mean, Justin Jefferson's playing well, but he's not having the kind of numbers and success that we're used to seeing from Justin Jefferson. Aaron Jones might be coming back soon for the Vikings. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but it's most likely next week. So we'll see how that running back situation goes. Jordan Mason's been doing a solid job. He had a decent game against the Eagles. They just didn't have enough to beat the Eagles. And at 3-3, I don't know if it's time to worry yet about the Vikings, but they got to get this injury situation and they got to get some players back because they're starting to head in the wrong direction. And Carson Wentz, he's got to pick up his game because if he can't, they got to get J.J. McCarthy back on the field and see what he can do. Not that he was lighting it up other than one quarter in the first game of the year, but I mean, you kept this kid, you let Sam Darnold get away, who's going crazy in Seattle. So you got to get the quarterback situation figured out in Minnesota, and it's got to happen soon. Panthers and Jets. The Panthers, they got to win. Bryce Young got hurt. We'll have to see if he's able to play this upcoming week. If not, they've got Andy Dalton there. Chuba Hubbard's back, so they got 2 good running backs now. Their defense looks pretty good now 2 weeks in a row. But the Jets, let's talk about the Jets. Whew. Jets fans, I saw there was like a video of a Jets kid who was interviewed after the game.
I'll see them and get your thoughts on the game.
I hate this team. I was born into this, and I'm not going to ever – I'm always a Jets fan, but, like, I hate this team.
And I'm sure there's a lot of Jets fans right now feeling the same way. The team is just looking real bad. And, having the owner of the team go and have a press conference and be asked about your quarterback and talk about the quarterback rating, Justin Fields, who got benched in that game, I don't think he's going to be the starting quarterback this week. They haven't announced it yet, but it really doesn't make any sense to keep putting him out there. He couldn't even complete screen passes. He's having a lot of troubles. It's not necessarily all his fault. He didn't have Garrett Wilson. The offensive line is garbage, much like the Raiders' offensive line. It's like just a high school offensive line. There's no time to throw the ball. There's no time to run the ball. And the play calling with that situation in mind is not helping whoever's at the quarterback, because Tyrod Taylor didn't come in and do anything better. But he might give them a better chance to get the first win of the year. I think it's Tyrod Taylor time. Justin Fields might be time to sit back and watch, take a deep breath, and figure out what's going on. He looks jumpy back there. He looks nervous, but getting sacked 8, 9, 10 times a game I'd be jumpy and nervous too. And you'd want to get rid of the ball before your receivers are where they're supposed to be. He's either throwing it too early or he's throwing it too late. He's just not making right decisions. I don't know why. He's super talented. Maybe he's just trying to do too much. Maybe they're not helping him with the play calling. Maybe they need to adjust, simplify things a little bit, especially with the injuries to Garrett Wilson. They got to figure something out in New York, because New York City is not happy. New York Jets fans are not happy, and they're going to let them know it. They're going to be calling for people's heads. And I think Aaron Glenn deserves a chance to be coach of that team. I've said it last time. But it's time to put Justin Fields on the bench, let him watch for a while. And if you're not feeling it for Tyrod Taylor, maybe put the rookie quarterback you drafted in there. He can't do any worse. I mean, really, the last 2 weeks, the Jets have been some of the worst quarterback numbers and plays historically in NFL history. I mean, they had like a minus 10 yards in the London game 2 weeks ago against the Broncos. And then this week, they had more yards, but it somehow looked worse. So it's time to bench Justin Fields, and it's time for the Jets to figure it out, because their defense is really good and they deserve a lot better. They've been keeping these games close the last couple of weeks. There's games they should have won and they just couldn't because of the quarterback play and injuries, but mostly the quarterback play. And it's a bad sign when the owner's calling out your quarterback in press conferences. It doesn't bode well for Justin Fields right now. Aaron Glenn, you have a pretty good excuse to start Tyrod Taylor. Your owner wants it, so let's just do it. Let's see Tyrod Taylor this week, or start the rookie quarterback that you guys got down there. But it can't be Justin Fields this week. Patriots and Titans. Titans, they fired their coach. They played well for a half, and then second half it fell apart. Cam Ward, his footwork is a mess from all the highlights they were showing, and everybody was talking about the coach wanted him to focus on his footwork, and he's throwing things off balance and running around like he did in Miami, but this is the NFL. That's not going to work. He needs to get his footwork in control and get more zip on the ball instead of running around doing these off-schedule throws. The Titans are a mess. Doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. On the other hand, the Patriots and Drake May, they look like a solid team right now. I, more than anybody, am shocked. I had hope. I knew they were going to be a lot better than they were last year. But as I said previously, I didn't think they would be having the success they were having so soon in the season. But they're having it. Drake May and Josh McDaniels seem to have figured things out. They're spreading the ball around to lots of people. They still can't really run the ball. Not sure why that is, because they're able to pass block and keep Drake May relatively clean and give him time to complete balls downfield. He's doing amazing at throwing the long ball and probably doing it better than anybody at this point. People starting to whisper about him potentially being in the MVP consideration. And right now you can't really argue with the success that he's had. I'm not sure that that's going to be the way. Patrick Mahomes is making a case for MVP. Baker Mayfield's had a pretty good year. But Drake May's right there with them. And the Patriots are playing above and beyond what I thought at this point. And they're solidly in first place in the AFC East. And, hoping that they continue that this week. They got to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They're supposed to beat the Saints. They're supposed to beat the Titans. And they did. And now let's see, as they start to get in these games and they get some division games coming up, let's see how they do. And who knows? Maybe the Patriots are back in the playoffs this year. But it's early in the season. Anything can happen. I'm not going to get too excited, but feeling real good right now the way the Patriots are playing. As good as I'm feeling about the Patriots, the Giants, on the other hand, oh man, that was one of the toughest losses I've ever seen. 19-0 lead in the fourth quarter, wind up giving up 33 points to the Broncos. Right side, they did score 32 points, but it was really bad. That interception on third down, Jackson Dart, when they're trying to run the clock out. I don't know why they're throwing the ball in that situation. Just run the ball. Get the Broncos to call their timeouts. Get to use up the clock. There's no reason for him throwing the ball there in that situation. They're putting too much on him. He's a good quarterback. He's clearly got the skills. He can throw the ball. He can run when he has to. Cam Scatterboo did okay. They weren't really able to run the ball as successfully as they had the last couple of weeks. But there's no reason to put Jackson Dart in that situation where he should be throwing the ball for a first down when you're really probably going to punt anyway. So let's run the ball. Let's waste the clock. And then the Broncos don't have enough time to get that play off at the end. But the biggest thing is that kicker, I don't know his name. I know he's number 99. But if he's on the Giants this week, I will be shocked. And Daboll should be fired immediately for keeping that kicker around. He missed 2 extra points after touchdowns. That would have won them the game. Minimally, they should have played overtime, and it should have been 33-33 and had an overtime period and give them a chance. But man, missing that extra point, that was one of the worst misses of an extra point in a crucial situation for a team that is clearly on the rise. Their defense is playing really well. The Giants, they really needed that win. They've got the toughest schedule in the league. We've talked about it before. And they've been in a bunch of these games. They could just as easily be 4-3, in my opinion, as 2-5. But they're not. They're 2-5. That was the kind of loss that could ruin your season. That was one of the toughest losses I've seen, and that's a thing that could just mess with your head the rest of the way. So I'll be looking to see how the Giants come out in Week 8 and rebound from that horrifying loss that they had. Colts and Chargers, Daniel Jones, I apologize to you once again. I'll probably keep doing that, but 6-1 now. The Colts, the score was 38-24, but the Chargers were never in that game. Their injuries are stacking up and starting to show on offense. Justin Herbert went crazy trying to lead them back into this game, put up big numbers, and if he started on your fantasy team, you probably were very happy to see his stat line and all the success he had. They did have a breakout with their tight end, their rookie tight end, Aronde Gatson, who I was a big fan of coming out of college and watching him in the NFL Combine. I thought he would be a really solid tight end in this league. The Chargers really made a good choice there. He's a solid player. He's been coming on the last 2 or 3 weeks. He went crazy against the Colts, which is a really good defense. If you need a tight end for your fantasy team, check the waiver wire. Go grab him because he's coming. He's definitely starting to figure it out, and he's going to be more focused in the offense, especially since the Chargers and their running back situation. So I'm looking for them to get this tight end more involved, and there's no reason to think he can't do it again this week. The Colts, Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, the best 1-2 punch on offense right now in the NFL. They're making their case to be a Super Bowl contender. They're able to do everything right now. Their defense is playing pretty well. They seem to score on almost every possession, either a field goal or a touchdown. They rarely punt. Everything's clicking for them on offense. Knock on wood, they can avoid any major injuries, and their success should continue. It's a shock to me, having watched Daniel Jones for all the years in the Giants. I sound like a broken record, but I'm surprised at how well he's playing, but he's got the right situation. He's got weapons. Tyler Warren, their rookie tight end, is unbelievable. Probably the best tight end in the NFL right now. And let's just knock on wood that these guys can stay healthy and keep beating people up in this league because they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch. The Colts are fun to watch. I'm surprised I'm even saying that, but the Colts are fun to watch. Packers beat the Cardinals. Kyler Murray wasn't there. The Cardinals have a mess in their running backs backfield. They got 3 guys there, and none of them are doing really anything. The tight end McBride is doing well. Harrison was back after having a concussion in Week 6. He played well. Jacoby Brissett is holding down the fort very well at quarterback. He's getting these guys the ball. Zay Jones can tell you all about that. He had a great game for the Cardinals. Even though they lost this game, I think the Cardinals every game it's been a one-score game every game. So they're 2-5. I'm looking at, but they've been in every single game. So they're right there. They're on the verge. The Packers, Josh Jacobs had a big game. Jordan Love not putting up big numbers. I'd like to see him do more. He's definitely seems to be struggling a little bit at quarterback. As high as I was on the Packers after week 2, I'm just as confused about them right now on offense. They've got a lot of weapons now. They've got a lot of wide receivers. They've got a good tight end. They've got a good running back. But yet the offense still looks a little clunky and disjointed. They won, so what? They're 4-1-1, and technically they're the number 1 ranked team in the NFC because of that stupid tie. But it doesn't look that good on the field on offense. Their defense is solid. Micah Parsons is doing Micah Parson things, and their defense is definitely keeping them in games and saving their offense for some of their stalls. But I need to see more out of Jordan Love coming forward. And I'm not sure what they're going to do, but they've got a lot of weapons, so let's use them, Green Bay. They should be better than a 4-point win, but their record is misleading because they are a really solid team, and they're in all of these games each week. Cowboys and Commanders. Cowboys actually might have a defense now. They definitely seem to be more spirited and did a much better job. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels got hurt again, didn't finish that game. No reason for him to come back in that game. They were down by so much. But injuries are killing the Commanders. The Austin Eckler injury is showing up right now because Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the rookie running back who had a couple of good games 2 weeks ago, didn't really have it against the Cowboys, and that's a bad defense, and people have been running all over them, and Washington couldn't do it. They're definitely missing Terry McLaurin as well. He's been injured. He might be coming back this week. Who knows? If they don't have Jaden Daniels, it's not going to make much of a difference. I mean, Marcus Mariota he's an okay quarterback. He can do some things that Jaden Daniels can do, but I don't know. The Commanders are heading in the wrong direction, and if they want to save their season, they got to get back on track this week. Cowboys putting up lots of points. CeeDee Lamb is back from injury. They put up 44 points against the Commanders, who usually have a pretty good defense. But not last week. I guess the Cowboys, with their defense the way it is, they know they have to score a lot of points if they want to be in this game. But like as I said earlier, their defense did play pretty well against the Commanders. So maybe they're 3-1. They're making their case and their push to try to be a playoff team. And if you score that many points, I mean, you're always going to be in a game. So it'll be interesting to see the Cowboys and how their defense evolves in the next coming weeks. 49ers beat the Falcons, and the 49ers look like an elite team. They're starting to get people back. Kittle's back. Mac Jones was still at the quarterback for the 49ers. Brock Purdy still hurt, but Mac Jones, congratulations. Drinks are on you because you got a $400,000 bonus for winning your 4th game as the quarterback of the team. So drinks are on Mac Jones this week. Their defense is still looking good, even shorthanded with injuries. They held the Falcons in check pretty well, other than Bijan Robinson, who is just a star. Michael Penix, you need to get your act together over there. He's got to get the ball out to Drake London. And Kyle Pitts, where the hell are you? You were this superstar college tight end who was drafted the highest of any tight end in NFL history. In Atlanta, has not figured out how to get this guy the ball. I don't know what that problem is there. Is it that he's maybe not as good as we thought? Or are they double teaming him? I don't know. I don't know what it is. Why are they not looking his way? Why are they not designing plays for him? Move him around, put him at a wide receiver, put him in the slot, put him at tight end, put him at H-back. You've got this huge weapon. Use him. Why aren't they using him? It baffles me why they can't figure out how to get Kyle Pitts the ball. And if they can't do it and they can't use him, trade him away to somebody else where maybe they can use him, because this guy's he was such a stud. I just don't know where he is. I just don't know what they're doing. And you're only scoring 10 points. And they know you're going to hand the ball off to Robinson or throw a screen to Robinson. You got to get somebody other than Bijan Robinson involved. and Drake London needs some help out there. So let's get Kyle Pitts the ball. The Monday night games, Lions and Buccaneers. I've been saying Buccaneers are must-see TV. Well, not this past week for sure. The Lions smoked them 24-9. The Lions made their case as the best team in the NFL with a patchwork defensive backfield. They have guys out for suspension for fighting. They got all the other guys out for injury, but they put guys out there and they held one of the best wide receivers in the league this year, the rookie Emeka Ibuka. They held him to, I think he only had 2 catches. Mike Evans, unfortunately, back from one injury, is now out for most of the rest of the season with a concussion and a broken clavicle or broken shoulder. Baker Mayfield was running for his life. That Lions defense was vicious, and they covered his receivers well. There wasn't much he can do. Bucky Irving, they're missing him on offense. Rashad White's doing a solid job, but Bucky Irving is definitely a key player for them because he's a more dynamic player than Rashad White because he can catch the ball and run the ball. So they need him back soon. The injuries are starting to stack up for Tampa Bay. They are still 5-2, still the team to beat in their division. But, if these injuries keep stacking up week after week, so hopefully they can right the ship this week. I still think they're must-see TV, even though they got their asses handed to them by the Lions. The Lions playing with that grit that they talk about. Dan Campbell must be the best pregame speaker and halftime speaker of any coach because these guys are flying all over the field. Jahmyr Gibbs is a superstar running back. Unbelievable the runs he broke off against Tampa Bay, who's a good defense. The Lions' offensive line is making holes that you could drive a car through, and Jahmyr Gibbs is running 22 miles an hour down the field and scoring touchdowns. It was unbelievable. Watch Jahmyr Gibbs, watch David Montgomery. Those guys are the best running back tandem in the NFL by far. And Jared Goff is doing a solid job at quarterback right now. So the Lions looking like the team to beat in the NFC after this week. The late Monday night game between the Seahawks and Texans, the Seahawks are really that NFC West with the Rams and the 49ers and the Seahawks and even the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a solid team. They're just not winning. That is the toughest division in the NFL, in my opinion. And the Seahawks beating the Texans 27-19 on Monday night. Maybe nobody's talking about Seattle because they're on the West Coast. I couldn't stay up for that game. I had to watch it on replay the next morning. So maybe that's why they're not talking about them. I don't know why they're not the sexy team or whatever. They're just a solid team. They play good defense. They can run the ball. They got 2 solid running backs. They've got a tight end. They've got probably the best wide receiver in the NFL at this point of the year in Jackson Smith and Jigba. Sam Darnold and him are working. Everything's working between them. Sam Darnold's looking like a solid quarterback. He's not putting up huge numbers, but he's, other than his fumble in the end zone when he got sacked and fumbled and they scored a touchdown, the Texans, he's not really turning the ball over. There's nothing much he could do on that particular play, but he and Jackson Smith and Jigba are clicking. Every game, there seems to be some sort of video game, large bomb pass, touchdown between him and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Smith and Jigba is going to probably pass 1,000 yards this week. He's leading in receptions and yards by far over the second receiver in the NFL. He's by far the best receiver statistically right now. And I think he's going to go over 1,000 yards this weekend. And then maybe 2,000 yards is on the horizon. I mean, there's no reason to say that he can't do it. What he's been doing, it's really been fascinating to watch how open he is. He's just really, really good. And he and Darnold are definitely in sync with one another. Seattle's got a really solid defense. They made C.J. Stroud and the Texans struggle all night long. Couldn't really run the ball. They lost Nico Collins to an injury as well. So the Texans on offense look out of sync and looking for an identity. And C.J. Stroud is struggling because he's another team just doesn't have time to throw the ball. But it'll be interesting to see how they rebound this week. Seahawks, look out. They look like a solid playoff team, and that NFC West division looks like the best in the NFL. So that's my takeaways from week 7. I'm getting ready for week 8. Enjoy your football this weekend. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.